Right, to another moan here from a man who was playing music in his van. He's complained to Staffordshire Police's Chief Constable after officers stopped him. Eddie Bone wants there to be an English Parliament rather than one for the whole UK, and he was driving through Hanley in his campaign van, playing Jerusalem on loudspeakers when a police car pulled him over. You can listen to what happened next.
Again, can I ask you please why we've actually been pulled over?
Yeah. Obviously we've seen the van.
Yeah.
We had reports of the van driving around playing music. You're from out of the area, so we don't know your political party because you're not standing as a candidate. So to find out who you are and why you come up here, we've.
But actually, you wouldn't have known I was out of area.
Yeah.
How would you have known I was out of area?
Finger registration on your van.
Okay, so what reports have you had then, please?
I'm not going to get into that.
Well, actually, no, it has to be because you've actually pulled me over, and I'm starting to feel that's verging on a little bit of harassment because actually we're fully entitled to go around with the vehicle and campaign.
Yeah, sure.
And actually, but actually, there should be no need to pull. We've been round the football stadium. We've been round.
We just pulled you over just for our intelligence because you're going round. This is not the normal thing that goes on in Hanley on a Saturday. Okay, so we just pulled you over just to satisfy ourselves that everything's up above board, etc. And there's no problems. We can see that there's no problems. Okay, that's the only thing. We can pull over any car on a public street.
Yeah, I understand that, by the way. I understand that, but they've got to be. But you must understand, from our side, we're raising an issue. It's a campaigning issue. You would know that I've been around all the country. I'm on.
That's fine.
TV. I'm on the radio, etc. Yeah, and so we're raising an issue, and it's. I mean, I'm involved with two them.
But we don't know that until we actually ask you, do we?
Well, that's the footage of the actual incident. Now, Eddie did ask the police that it was okay to film them there, so they agreed to that. He says he finds the officers' behaviour offensive. He's complained to Staffordshire Police, and he told me more about his campaign and what happened.
Well, we tried to highlight an issue. Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland all have their own parliaments and assemblies, and England doesn't have its own parliament. It means it doesn't have a First Minister. It doesn't have a voice expressing English concerns.
Did you have any, banners on the car, any placards so that people knew why you were doing it?
Yeah. It says, stand up for England, support an English Parliament. We had on there also equality and fairness to highlight, actually, we only want a fair deal for England.
So this was a campaign for a certain cause, and you were driving through Stoke-on-Trent playing Jerusalem. I mean, that song, any particular reason why that particular song?
Yeah, it is actually the national anthem of England for the Commonwealth Games. We believe it should be the national anthem for England. It is played at a number of sporting events. In fact, we have been around the whole of the country playing Jerusalem for many years now, asking people to support our campaign for Jerusalem to become the national anthem.
Have you ever been stopped by the police before? In
other
countries? You say you've been around the country.
Well, actually, we've been to Edinburgh, we've been to Paris. Have no issues whatsoever. It's only on English streets that actually the police feel a need to pull us over.
And that happened when you were driving through Stoke-on-Trent. We heard that earlier. What reason did they give you?
Well, they said basically they thought that playing Jerusalem and flying the English flag, calling for an English Parliament, could offend people locally. Obviously, I consider that to be a harassment of me expressing my identity, my philosophical belief. I think actually the police stepped outside the line there and actually were allowing themselves to be used to harass an individual just calling for a fair deal for England. And actually it is really a huge shame that actually you should be pulled over on the streets of England just playing your anthem.
Okay, so were you pulled over because of the offence nature or the fact that actually people, as I say, I heard it, I was here and I think, what on earth's that? And it was very loud. I mean, there are a couple of reasons why you could be asked to turn it down, surely.
Well, actually, they didn't ask us to turn it down. We always stand in front of the vehicle. It is loud, but it's a moving vehicle. We're not stationary with it. So you didn't ask us about the loudness of the music. They actually said quite clearly to us that they had a complaint about it, and it wasn't about the music or how loud it was. It was about being offensive to people in the local area.
And yet, interesting you say that's only happened to you in England. Where else has it happened?
Well, I mean, we've been pulled over a number of times by the police, but actually it's the first time we've actually had a camera in the vehicle to actually film the police pulling us over and actually and challenging us. So we actually asked the police, do you mind for a film? They said no, they didn't mind us filming. That's the first time we've been able to show on evidence that this is occurring. I mean, it is. I mean, just sit there. You cannot play your national anthem, the anthem which is used in the Commonwealth Games, used before England play rugby. You cannot play that on the streets of England because the police feel you may cause offence.
OK, you've complained, obviously, to Staffordshire Police.
Yes, I have.
What would you like to happen?
Well, I'd like the police commissioner to look into it. I'd like him to have an inquiry, look at what the officers did. I believe, actually, that it's an offence under the Equalities Act, because we were discriminated against. And I do think, as I explained to the policeman at the time, I believe it was harassment. And so we'd like them to look into this, examine it, have an inquiry, and come back and explain why.
That was Eddie Bone. BBC Radio Stoke have contacted Staffordshire Police for a statement that says Staffordshire Police approached a vehicle that was broadcasting loud music in a city centre location. Officers made inquiries as to the circumstances and gave advice to the occupants. Inquiries were concluded and the vehicle was allowed to proceed on its way. It's 1:15.